earlier Narasimha Rajaraj Chola, Rudrama Varangal, Krishnadevaya of Hampi. Each one of them have their own place in history. But particularly for Telugu people, we forget for a few minutes the modern division of Andhra, Telangana and all this, but Telugu speaking people. The name Krishnadevaya is very dear. It's unfortunate today people quarrel about whether Krishnadevaya was a Kannadiga or a Telugu. If he is a Telugu, what is his community? If he is a Kannadiga, what is his community? We are trying to simply destroy him. Stupidity. He's a great personality. Apart from being a great conqueror and establisher of an empire, approximately his empire extended over 2/3 of the present South India, all the 4 states put together. Apart from that, there have been many conquerors, but what distinguished Krishnadevaya in history is a man of letters. He's a scholar king, who not only encouraged scholars, personally was a scholar who authored books in 3 languages, Kannada, Sanskrit and Telugu. Now, no wonder somebody coming from that lineage takes to writing a book. I find it anything very unusual about it. If he didn't do it, perhaps there's something unusual about it. It's almost like a grandson to me. I can only wish him all the best, and I wish him excellence in the pursuit of literature. Obviously, you can't do that today in the modern world. Unless you want to, then get into politics. I don't suggest you get into politics and become a lawyer, but excel in writing. That's one way of. And then remember, more than any one of the 4 names I mentioned in the last 10 minutes, Rajaraj Chola, Rudrama, they are only remembered as rulers, administrators, and conquerors. None of them is remembered today as scholar. It is the patronage they were conferred on the scholars and scholarly pursuits, which made it possible for people to remember 500 years so far, how many more centuries, I don't know. But I believe by the sunset every day in 2 states, 3 states rather today, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, these 3 states, at least yes, a few lakhs of people would mention that name in some context or another. A few lakhs of people every day mention that. I don't think any other personality in the history of South India enjoyed that kind of a popularity, you call it, or thing. And one reason is, and most of the time the reference is made in the context of literature. A very small town in Andhra Pradesh, and by evening there is some gathering and some program. And I have known quite a few places, at least 30-40 years ago when I was still young at Mesopotamia. This practice of having a Bodhavayam in the evening, somebody or the other continued. Every small town had this thing. In Telugu, for example, in my hometown, there used to be a very famous journalist called Krishna Rao, Krishna Rao, a paper called Krishna Rao. This is a one-man paper. His office and press, everything was in a small tiled house in Mesopotamia. After I have not seen him. Statue is there on the temple. But I know about him because I belong to the same town. The story goes, in the evening, all these writers, they were running a newspaper, writers used to gather there. Some of them become very prominent later. Gather there under the shade of a, what do you call, how do you describe in English? Malapan. And it was known as Bhavana Vijayanagara. So that's what I can remember all these centuries. I wish you all the best. Thank you all.
May I now invite our respected guest of honor, Sri Vijayanagara, to share his thoughts on the special occasion, a tribute to our historical roots, cultural pride, and the powerful narrative woven in this book. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests on the diet. Very privileged to be in this August gathering. I was asking Shalini for a copy of the book, and she said, no, it will be launched and then only you'll be able to get it. Same handicap as Justice Shalini, but I will go through. Now that we've got a copy, I'll go through it. It's about 500 years back. Vijayanagara kingdom was there, the empire was there. In fact, Justice Shalmishra was mentioning the expanse of it. And they had also conquered Sri Lanka, and he was also designated as the king of Burma. That was the expanse of Vijayanagara Empire. So I was, Shalini was looking for civil servants to be part of this function, apart from, of course, the minister and chief justice and the family and other eminent historians. I was talking to a colleague of mine. He writes S.M. Mahanti. So he said, look, till then I didn't know that the Gajapati kings of Orissa had a running feud with the Vijayanagara Empire. No. They had come all the way up to Karnataka, Tanjore. That was the extent of Gajapati intrusion into Vijayanagara Empire, and then in the process they had to lose Goa also. By then the Portuguese had already stepped in and they were interested in the western coast. Very surprisingly, there is a lot of source material. There are Portuguese travelers who have written about the empire. There are, of course, the court historians of the Deccan Sultanate, all four sultanates, they have written, but obviously there will be biases. There are people from Italy who've come and written about the Vijayanagara Empire. In fact, the strand of historiography on Vijayanagara Empire taken two contrary kind of description. Even this book, in the back cover, they're talking of the Battle of Talikota. Even on Talikota, there are differences of opinion about how many days it lasted or how many hours it lasted. Then where exactly it is taking place. In fact, there are 3 places mentioned, all on the banks of Krishna River. The detailed description of the Battle of Talikota. But my source was, of course, I've not gotten into the details of but my source was, of course, net, the wiki page on Vijayanagara Empire, then Talikota Battle. You'll be surprised, one of the Qutub Shahi kings was there for 7 years. He was posted in Vijayanagara Empire because there's this problem here. It's across any empire. You have internecine fights, brothers not liking brothers, or son killing father, and then revolts within the royalty, within the elite class. That's normal. I mean, that's what feudalism is all about. But the fact that the Vijayanagara Empire has sustained, and we have the family here, 19th generation, I'm sure they must have done some punyam to sustain so long and be here with all of us and share their experiences. And the boys gone to Durham. I was in the University of Hull, and from there I had gone to Durham, the university. I'm glad. I congratulate and but the first book is always like the first childbirth. It's very painful. Those who've gone through this process would know. And the young prince also would have gone through this process. But I'm glad that he's come out with it, and I congratulate him. I wish him all the best. I wish that the book does well, and I wish that he goes on to write more books on the Vijayanagara Empire, on his lineage, on his and Justice Shalmeshwara very rightly mentioned that, we're talking about the battles and conquests and the kingdoms and the expanse of the thing, but Justice Shalmeshwara mentioned about the literature. And Shalini, I would advise you to go into his architecture, Vijayanagara Empire architecture. I'll not take much time, though I had a lot of material, but certainly we'll have more time to talk about it. I wish the author all the very best. I wish the family all the very best, that they've been able to retain Anigundi Sansthanam. The first time I heard about it, in fact, Anuradha madam is here. She is also from a Sansthanam. The problem with Sansthanams or any royal family or any palaces, if you go and see now, same with the Nizams here. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm part of the trust, of the Nizam's trust. They need finances, resources for the maintenance of the palaces, for maintenance of their heritage. They look forward to government support. Some royal families, like in Rajasthan, for instance, they've been able to maintain the heritage. Same with Gwalior royal family. Mysore, to some extent, because they were able to make a transition from feudal structure to democratic structure. Most of them have got into political power as well, becoming MPs, MLAs, ministers. That's how they were able to retain the heritage, the property. They could save it and sustain it. Some of them have converted into hotels, heritage hotels, boutique hotels. Hampi is a UNESCO heritage site, and a lot of tour operators operate, even from Hyderabad. Heritage tourists are taken to Hampi. Anigundi, for the first time I heard about that. I'm sure the palace, they would be able to maintain it as a tourist spot. Like in Udaipur, what they have done is the royalty stays in one portion of the palace. The other portion of the palace is open to tourists, so that they earn the revenue, and the people who work there also earn their livelihood. I wish the family all the best. I wish the young author all the best. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. I request former Principal